We have our partners in crime and our celebrity home loans this morning in the house. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
And Carissa's with us this morning. Yay.
Good morning.
And Autumn Scott Hall's taking the day off. She's on vacation today. She's in some tropical palm tree place, and she's probably listening, saying, "Right, Becky? Yeah, right." Yeah.
I'm sure she's saying that.
Yeah. She's living the dream. Actually, she's working very hard, I'm sure. And so we do miss you, Autumn. But anyway, we understand. Got to get that work done, and all the great things going on at Celebrity Home Loans. And Dennis, you're getting ready to do your numbers, right?
Yes. So Celebrity Home Loans. Oh my gosh. It's celebrityhomeloans.com. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. You can look us up. Our NMLS number is 227-765. We're an equal housing lender.
Yay.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, now we are legal. Okay,
we are legal.
Get those numbers. That's right. All right, I would like to thank our sponsors: Walmart, Mediview Healthcare Center, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, and in the house today, right here. Woo-hoo. And oh yeah, you're a whooper with me.
No, I am this morning.
I love that. Yeah. Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Blackside Associates, and Fox Valley Wealth Management. Yay. All right. We got a lot going on. This is a wonderful Thursday. And let's see here. We've got Derby coming up this weekend. Exciting.
Oh, and today's Thurby.
Yeah.
Derby, yes.
Yeah.
Today's
That's
Derby, tomorrow's the Oaks, and then Derby Saturday.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yes.
Yay. And Dennis, you got a horse? Chris, you got a horse?
Yeah, I got a horse, but not into Derby.
I don't even have one.
But you got a pick? Anybody got a pick?
No, not this year. Not
No.
myself, no. I haven't heard anything faint, Nobody's bragging up anybody yet, I've heard.
Okay.
Or I haven't listened to one of the two.
Okay. I kind of got one, but I'm afraid because my other last year's Derby horse is still out, so I'm waiting for him to cross the finish line. Oh, Chris is like, what? Yeah. So, anyways, that's exciting. And then don't forget, on Sunday we just talked about Mother's Day coming up, so reminding everyone about that. So
Yes.
so a little bit of reminders and things to do, right? Also, let's see here. Actually, officially tomorrow, Doctor Strange comes out in theaters. So I'm just kind of giving you the lowdown. If you want to go places, do things, you got it, okay? And we have the election put to sleep, and so now we're onward home with many other great things. All right, it is the 5th day of May. Today is Cinco de Mayo Day.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Oh, let's go celebrate.
There we go. That's what Autumn's doing.
She's getting an early start.
Yeah, awesome. When you get home, or get back when you get home.
Yes.
Celebrity home. Okay. Hug a shed and take a selfie day.
Hug a shed and take a selfie day.
We already took our selfie.
There we go. Absolutely, we sure did. International Midwives Day. That's off to all the midwives out there. Make a book day. Have you ever made a book, Dennis?
Yes, I have. I've done a few of them for the office, little handy books and so forth.
Those are binders.
Well, yeah, but there's other
Yeah,
stuff.
look.
I'm going back a little bit farther. Yeah, I did a binder the other day.
Yeah,
Just for
I
us.
love that. I love that. Krista, have you made a book?
I think in elementary school, yeah. Young authors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the requirements.
Yeah, I
but
do.
I don't think mine was very good.
Oh, I'm sure it was wonderful.
It was good for the day.
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
absolutely. Museum lovers. Didn't you like to go to a museum?
Oh, you get me in a museum, you're going to lose me because I'm going to be there reading everything and looking at
Oh, I
everything.
love that.
You're going to be out the other end and I'm still going to be inside. My
Ooh.
wife hates taking me to museums.
I love that.
Or any place like
what kind of exhibit are you really interested in if you go to a museum?
Well, it depends on where I'm at. I mean,
Uh-huh.
just any of them. Anything about, the past. There's a little turban mill out in Missouri. And our Beck's mill is a turban mill. There's only 3 in the whole United States. And this great big one out there, they got the history of the whole community and how that mill came about and goes way back. I can spend an hour in there, hour and a half, and read everything that's in there. And I have I've been guilty of it a time or two because I go there quite a bit.
So there's only 3 in the United States, and Salem has one of them.
Yes, it's a
Wow,
turban.
I learned
There's
something
so many
today.
great things.
Yeah.
Our community. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's just the design, the way it works. It's
That's
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been over not to the art, but the Creation Museum. Oh yeah, my daughter took me over there years and years ago. Well, on my 60th birthday.
I love
And
that.
I got started in one end of it, and they were out the other end, and I was still only halfway through reading everything.
But I love that because, a lot of times, people do not take the time to read it all and find out about that. And it's really cool.
And you don't have to agree with it. It's just, it's, that over there is their interpretation. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Compare it to what you know or don't know. You may look into it a little deeper. But that's why I found out about it. And you know what the funny part is? I hated history in high school. Hated it with a passion.
Oh, wow.
And now I love it.
Yeah.
My wife gets mad at me. I don't even have the History Channel because I'd be watching it all the time.
I don't even have this.
The wife is like, no.
Yeah.
She would turn that
off.
I'd like to see his eyes from time to time. That's hilarious. All right, so Museum Lovers Day, love that. And Nail Day.
Let's not talk about mine.
Yeah, I know. It was all I know. I was just thinking, okay, need some work over here. National Cartoonist Day. Dennis, do you have a favorite cartoon you like?
Probably good old Mickey Mouse. Just good old days.
And that's Brinley's favorite too.
Oh, is it?
I love that.
Mini. That's what she says.
I love that. Krista, is that your favorite, or what's your favorite?
I guess right now, because that's the phase that
Yeah.
she's going through, so that's what we watch.
Yeah, they get on those, don't they? Yeah.
Yep.
I have so many. I like so many. I like the older ones, but I also like, I like the newer. I love cartoons. National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day. So bringing that bringing that to the forefront. And I think that I've been saying this, and I've said it several times, and I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm so happy that we're bringing mental health awareness to the forefront, and people are getting help and talking about it, and it's being addressed in so many different meetings that I'm in, and I'm so proud of our groups, our organizations that are realizing that this is something that needs to be addressed.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely, and we, I've been involved with it for years and years since my youngest was in grade school, and it is a big thing. It's a very big thing, and I'm a firm believer that a lot of the stuff that's in the processed food and all aggravates it. It aggravates their attention. It aggravates their energy. I'm a big fan about going back to whole foods, natural foods, and getting rid of a lot of this garbage we have.
I love that.
I've seen. It's like the old saying: "Got your grandkids? Give them a bunch of candy and sugar, and get them wound up, and send them home." It does work. It does work to get even with those kids.
That's not practice
But
that though.
that's a good example.
It's like no, it is true. Yeah. So, and I think, have we not remembered? We heard this early on. You are what you eat.
You are what you eat. Yes.
So kind of, think about that, and that makes you. When you start doing that, it takes a lot longer. You talk about reading every label and finding out everything, doing your homework. Dennis, that's where I spend my hours at the grocery. Just reading. When you start reading everything and seeing what's in stuff, Yeah.
But
you can't pronounce some of those words.
That's what I was about to say. I'm like, what's this word? Let alone what is this?
Does that mean? Yeah.
And just the regular food that if you just eat natural foods and whole foods and stay away from all the junk, it's not only better for you, but it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
If you really looked at your grocery bill and broke it down and separated it on the table, over 2/3 of what we spend on is for laundry detergent, dishwashing stuff, household items.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the joke around the house is, every night we have salad.
They do have salad. They do.
But
every night salad.
Pretty much. At least 5 nights a week.
Salad.
Becky says, "Oh yeah."
Okay. All right. Well, I won't pop in for supper then.
Yes,
salad. Okay.
So here's a funny story. My daughter and granddaughter come over one evening, and they were with us, and of course my wife fixed salad for supper. She's putting it on the table, and the granddaughter's going, "What's for supper, Mammal?" "Salad." "No, Mammal. Really? What's for supper?" "Salad, Mammal." "Come on, don't give me that. What's for supper?" "Salad. Really? It's salad?"
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
she had a meltdown.
She was looking at that mashed potatoes and meatloaf and all that.
Yeah.
Gravy and
Now I want meatloaf.
Yeah. Oh no, you can't be. I mean, what's up? That right there is just like a hug.
Yes.
It's a hug on a plate.
And I'm picky about whose meatloaf I like too.
Yeah, me too. I'm a little bit, but meatloaf, mashed potatoes.
Yum.
You just.
At least I like salads because, man, if I heavy every night, oh, I'd be in bad shape.
Yeah.
I'd be
How
in
does
bad
she
shape.
fix her salads? Is there any certain way?
No, just
She adds different toppings, so that's good. That
Oh,
switches
she's
it up a little bit.
She
Yeah.
kicks it up a notch. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's ooh, it's Tuesday night. We're gonna have some bacon on this.
Yeah, well, cucumbers.
That's on Monday night.
Honey,
She fixes it on Sunday.
You know how I like
Bacon
it.
for
That's right.
breakfast on
Right.
Sunday, and then you
That's
get the toppings.
Hey, I like it. You know what I mean? No, but I eat a lot of salads too, so I can't. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do.
That's my balanced people that eat other stuff.
On the weekends or whatever.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. Well, my grandmother always said there was no calories on the weekend, so. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that was like a hall pass. All right, let's see here. National Day of Prayer. How awesome is that? Definitely.
Absolutely.
And we've got all kinds of different, actually, groups that are going to be honoring and going to be doing that and wanting everybody to do that at the same time. So we'll get more information on that. National Day of Reason. You ever just sit and reason something out?
All the time.
Do you overthink it a little bit? Like, should I, this? There's options. Always knowing your options.
I know all my options. My
Oh,
wife
Lord.
is like, has a heart attack, so we better not go there.
Okay, with only knowing your options. And, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. Yeah, study whatever important is coming up. Study it. I mean, with the internet, decipher it, break it out, throw out what's garbage, and
Well, and like
You know.
you said, reason it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really reason it.
Yeah, and I think that's good. And I think in parenting, I think in anything you do, choices and
Like
everything-
home buying, especially.
Oh,
Yeah. Definitely
Those pros
reason.
in that.
Yep.
Well, definitely reason in the pros and the cons and whether, and Autumn said a statement, and I know I'm going to keep it, she's teaching me a lot, but like, there's some people that maybe, a home's too much for them
Yeah.
to keep up with,
Yeah.
and that's something, that you have to keep in mind. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
it's more than just a place to live. I mean, there's maintenance there with that.
Yeah.
And if you
Lots of
don't want that,
responsibilities.
you're better off to rent.
Yeah, and
I mean,
we've
just-
heard people say, "Oh, the American dream," you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then, living it, you know what I mean?
Well, for some
What do you
people, renting in a nice place is American dream.
Right,
Exactly.
and traveling and
Yeah.
leaving when they want. And
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I thought that was just a different. Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely. So Day of Reason, National Hoagie Day. Ooh, like a
Ooh,
good hoagie.
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 Oh,
You're
like
hoagie.
a sandwich.
Having a
Sandwich.
hoagie. Yeah.
Okay.
A hoagie. Yeah.
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
you gotta get so you're not gonna believe this. Okay. Okay. There are. I like hoagies. Okay, and there are a lot of great hoagie places. Okay, I've really not met one I didn't like too much, but you're not gonna believe the place that used to have the best hoagies, and this is like a blast from the past, and no more around, is Kmart. Kmart had great.
I
hoagies.
remember Kmart.
They
I
had
would get a
great
corn dog.
hoagies, and it was the craziest thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Man, it's been a long time I've been around Kmart.
Yeah, there was. Well, I guess there was one in New Albany too. I was gonna say there was one in
No, 'cause I would
Bedford.
go to IUS and get a hoagie, and oh my goodness, it was like I was like.
You're like, we need another
I was a
Kmart.
captain. I mean, I felt like I was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like I was Mr. President. You know what I mean? Or their hoagies are wonderful. And anybody that's out there is listening, they remember those Kmart hoagies.
Yes.
They're shaking their head. Yeah,
They're
you go, girl.
unforgettable.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, are you a hoagie fan, Krista?
I don't know when the last time I would have had one, if I've ever had one.
We don't see too many places serve them
Yeah.
anymore.
I used to make them homemade. You know, I mean, just get the big loaf, like the French bread, and just just start piling on. And
That sounds good.
my family really liked them.
Yeah.
So I have some of the girls, their friends that would come over and eat, and now they're older. And they're like, we're craving those sandwiches you used to
Aw.
make. Those are hoagies. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I need to kind of do a redo on those. National Silence the Shame Day. Okay. I don't know about that. Oyster Day. Dennis, you like oysters?
No,
Kristen?
Mm-mm.
No, I can't do it.
I can't get past the thought of
Yeah.
it.
And the sliminess.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
thanks.
All right. Remember we had yesterday was May the 4th be with you. Today is Revenge of the 5th Day.
Revenge of the Fifth.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's Star Wars,
Star Wars,
right?
yeah. Let's see here. This is also World Password Day. Do you ever forget your password, Dennis?
Oh,
Funny.
Oh, do tell.
Autumn walked by his computer, I think it was yesterday, and all you see are these big black letters that says locked out again or something
Oh my
along
gosh,
those
I
lines.
love that
Because
so
for the
much.
past 2 weeks, like every other day, Dennis is over there blowing steam out of his ears, and we're like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Well, I'm locked out again."
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
So that's funny.
That
That
is
is
funny.
good.
There you go. Well, so yay, we're celebrating that
Yay!
today. See, a good thing.
That's
Good thing.
awesome.
There we go. So get out and enjoy. All right. Celebrity Home Loans, right here on the square, beautiful part of our community, a very blessing that we have got you guys, and a large part of our community. So we're going to jump right in. We got some changes coming up. We're going to let people know about, and I think Dennis, what's new on the
horizon.
On the
horizon.
Yeah.
So, the CFPB. So what that stands for is Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So back when the crash happened, a little bit of history here and kind of catch everybody up where some of this
Dennis
coming
loves
from.
history now.
I love my history.
Oh my God, I love that. It repeats itself.
Yes,
There you
it
go.
does.
Repeat itself. So
Yeah.
during the crash, it was decided, Congress decided that they needed to regulate the mortgage industry. So all this craziness you see is generated from that. So the Dodd-Frank Act come out. In 2010, that thing is 27,000 pages long. So it took a long time for everybody to kind of figure it out. And then they also decided the federal government needed to oversee the whole industry. So that's where the CFPB come from. They originated that department in the federal government to oversee credit, loans, banks, all this kind of stuff to keep everybody compliant, make sure that they're not doing stuff illegal and so forth. So one of the things that they come out, March 22nd, they come out with a statement, said, we're going to make some changes to the credit reports. Said, going forward, now I want everybody to listen to this because there's 3 parts of it, and the part that I heard, everything was going to be deleted in the medical world, but it's not quite that simple. So as I go through it. So the first part starts July 1st, and it says that any collections in medical collections that have been paid have to be removed from the credit report. Now, the difference about that, so if you have any collection, it doesn't just have to be medical. Our thing about it is it needs to be paid. It needs to show paid. If it's due, then it creates headaches. But the Financial Credit Bureau says that if you have a collection on the last date of activity, so that'd be your last payment you made, it drops off the credit report in 7 years. So think of it as a triangle in a downstream, so that the last day of activity, you're at the peak of the triangle, and in 7 years, it goes downhill to where it no longer affects your score. So as time goes along, it hammers your score worse, a smaller amount. It knocks your credit down a smaller amount. So after 7 years, it falls off and it's not there. So by July 1st, those paid medical bills will drop off, no matter how long it's been. Just as long as it's paid, it will drop off. So about 50% of the customers' score is going to go up July 1st if they're paid. All right. So that's the first part.
Okay.
The second part, and there's 2 parts to this, and this is going to be in the first quarter, they said. There's no date set for it yet. But any medical bill under $500 is going to disappear. Any medical bill new that's under $500 cannot be listed on the credit bureau.
Which that's huge because a lot of people, you will see on credit reports and it's showing as a collection, so it will adversely affect their score. A lot of people, it's like a $40 or $200. It's like a well visit and a copay. So that's huge because a lot of the times, like they even say in this, they don't even know it's out there. They don't even know that it's been billed to them, and by the time that they do know, it's already in the collection status. So that's really, really huge, is under the $500.
Yeah, it's big. And the idea is medical bills are not a true representation of a person's ability to pay, because it's just the way that world is. So right now, after 6 months, they can send that medical bill to a collection and nobody ever send out, because by law, you don't have to send a medical bill out. You don't have to. Nobody is required to send any bill out. You know, people they say, well, they never sent me a bill. I don't know, because they never sent me a bill. No, there's no law that says they have to send you a bill. There's no law that says anybody has to send a bill. So that's where some of my preaching, be responsible, pay attention to your insurance
Yes.
paper, see what parts you're owed, you're due, and take care of it.
So that's where it's kind of hard too, and I think that a lot of the unpaid medical debt is like, if you were to go to do a hospital visit, like I remember whenever I had Brindley, I had my hospital bill, but if they were sending blood work off or different stuff, they send it off to these labs. Well, some people don't know that bill will be separate, and so they don't know necessarily to settle that amount or settle that account and everything too. So that's a big thing that we've also heard with medical debt is they didn't know that it would be a separate bill for those types of things. Right. And so then it's popping up on them. So that was another big thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it gets really confusing when you're not in that world.
Yeah, absolutely. And insurance as a whole is confusing. Let's be honest sometimes.
And, and I know someone that this was confusing. They were going to have a baby.
Yeah.
And the office on its own decided to do just random out of the patient's drug testing. So the person got a bill for a test that was never even known that it was done.
Yes.
And it was like $500. I mean, it was a huge amount. And I don't know how that was done, but this is what she was telling me.
Yeah.
And she had no reason not to, but anyway, but just random to do that.
But so she wouldn't know to pay that company.
Didn't know to.
Yeah.
And when it became, and then like you said, it went right to collection.
Yes.
It was like, what are we even talking about here?
Yes.
And then you have to, and then you have to be put on hold. She said, like,
yeah, it's a headache to even settle it.
So that can be a lot, on people. So, but what Dennis has said, and this is good information, and I always like to learn a lot on Thursdays. But when your insurance comes and it shows the part that it's not going to pay, then that other part is your responsibility.
That's your responsibility.
So that is somewhat of a bill. It might not have the word bill on it particularly, but that is there we go.
Which are those commonly known as like the explanation of benefits, the EOB, which would be the summary of the visit, what they would pay, and then like what you're still held accountable for. Explanation of benefits.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of people say, well, I had insurance, so it was supposed to all be taken care of. Well,
or workers' comp claims. I've saw that a bunch with like medical collections, is because the workers' comp claim takes so long that by the time that is being settled, between legal action or whatever it may be, then this person is held. Sorry.
After all this,
she's like, I'm into that.
I know. There was no way. I kept thinking they're going to think I'm going from coffee.
Yes.
After this talk, I need something stronger. That was water.
Yes, but that is one thing I've known. Because we do ask our consumers, like, what's this? Can you explain this to me? And give them a moment, because a lot of the times it's not really their fault. Every once in a while you do have that stubborn, I'm not paying that, but a lot of the times they don't know, or I found that it's a workers' comp claim. They're waiting on someone else to settle it. Well, it's going against this person's, own credit history, and that can affect a lot of things in today's world.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I think this, you guys really, think about what your jobs are. Like, okay, so, I want to, I'm interested, and and I've got a job, and I want to buy a home. This is what I'm just, making a story here. And someone walks in your office, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you have all this, and you have this, and you have this, and this. And they're like, what are we even talking about? So this, you probably really pull back the blinds for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, every day. Every single day.
Yeah. It's like, what are we even talking about here, right? You know what I mean? In the third grade,
and for each other, like, there are things that I'm like, I had no idea this was a thing, and Autumn will lay it all out for me and help me, like, explain it to the customer. But it's like, I do this, and there are still some things that I don't know, so we can't expect everyone to know them. Yeah.
So really, it's a blessing to come and get this eye opener and see, a lot of times. And what I love, and this is something so different and so unique about Celebrity Home Loans, and I tell it to everyone I possibly can, I love the way you work with people. You don't just give it a yes or a no. I'm sorry, no, you didn't get the loan. Yes, you did get the loan, whatever. You go in deep and you explain this to the person.
Absolutely.
And that's above and beyond, and that's not done a lot.
Yeah.
And excuse me there. And the thing is, there's a lot of stuff out there people don't even know is out there.
Yes.
So, a past client, about a year or so ago, came in and we were trying to put her daughter. So her daughter lives with her, and it's a permanently disabled person. And there had been a hospital emergency, and they spent 5 days in intensive care. So when they are on Social Security disability and they've been listed as incapable of taking care of themselves, and there's a guardian over it. When you have when you go to the hospital, that's all covered by the state and the federal government. There is no bill. And this person had 30-some bills charged against them for that, and they had no clue. They knew the score was down, didn't know why, because you can't get that stuff. We get stuff that you can't get yourself when it comes to credit bureaus. We see it all. You can only dig in and get part out. Credit Karma is pretty good about it. Karma with a K. I highly preach that company. Yes, it's a market.
Okay.
It's a marketing company.
Yeah.
They try to sell you charge cards and so forth, but they give you the information that's on your credit bureau.
Yes.
And it doesn't.
And it's not always, I will say it is not always accurate, because I have had people come in and be like, well, Credit Karma told me this. So what Dennis is saying is that it is a very, very good tool to use,
Exactly.
but do not rely on it solely. Like, don't come to us and be like, well, Credit Karma said my score is this.
Yeah.
So it does have very, very valuable information. It is a very good resourceful tool, but it is not always 100% accurate. It can vary anywhere from 10 to 30 points from your actual score from the bureaus.
Yeah. But it gives you those items that's in collection and all. So you can do something on your own.
Right.
And so like this customer, what we had to do is go back to the hospital and say, hey, why are these being billed? Because they shouldn't. And then we're pulling down the law, and everything needs to be, so we can go back and get that stuff deleted, because it should have never been on the credit report again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's little bitty ones. It's $7, $8, $10 a piece. There's all crap load of
It's those different lab things or whatever else.
Yeah.
That,
And
it is so confusing.
There is no now I'm lost for words. So like when you go to the doctor and you got your part of the bill of a doctor's visit.
Yes.
The deductible.
Yeah.
You got
Yes. I'm part of it. I am personally part of it.
I was trying
Okay.
to help you, and I couldn't pull it out.
I know. I'm like, okay, where was
I
that?
was like, okay.
Yeah. Getting old is not an advantage.
Well, no, but you're making a point, and that's where you're trying to. Yeah, go ahead.
So,
yeah.
There is no deductible for those people. So why were all these sent out?
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of crunching. Another one had a charter communications bill, and it's like, I never had charter communications. I do charter communications. So after doing some research, it was Spectrum.
Yes.
It was Spectrum.
Mm.
And when you call a charter to try to find out about it, they said just fax the stuff information in. It's like you could not get a hold of a person.
Yeah.
So this customer, of course, because it's not our bill, they can't tell us anything about it. So the customer has to do the legwork.
Okay.
They have to be diligent enough to go pick that phone up and sit on that phone and figure out what's going on. And finally, she, with a little Google work and all so forth, found out it was Spectrum, got a phone number, called them. Yes, you had an account. And then when she found out it was Spectrum, yeah, there was an account. It had been paid for. Physically walked the hardware back into the store, handed it to a person, got it signed off. Their account showed bill 100% paid on
And
time.
it was on their report.
And it was on a collection for $180.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And
But had she not came in, she wouldn't have known.
No.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, there are other apps or whatever that you can use or avenues to
But
find
we
out.
get nervous on those when we.
And some people aren't going to put in that effort and stay on top of it and do all those things.
Yeah.
A lot of people would just get frustrated and be like, "Oh my gosh, whatever, I'm done."
It's
You
right.
know?
Right.
they want to say, well, it's not mine. That doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a
Because-
reason they make it that hard to do
Well,
that stuff.
And you got a collection company, that's their job to collect.
Yeah.
So somebody has said, and they're supposed to give those collection companies a copy of the bill.
Yeah.
To verify. And I don't know whether that always happens or not or what, but they're supposed to, if you contest it, they're supposed to go back and verify it. But to contest it, you've got to do more than just say, it's not my bill, because that doesn't do anything.
That's not going to
It's-
get
it's
off your
like-
credit
Right.
report.
It's not. Dig it up.
Yeah.
Don't wait for it to get 5 years old and you've got, dig it up. Be proactive
Yeah.
and go after it and get it off of there.
And you do have to be apt, and you honestly, I hate to say this, but you have to be mean and assertive sometimes.
Mhm.
So a lot of people don't have that backbone. And Autumn has told me, like, she's sat with people and she will help them call and she will tell them, like, you need to say this, you need to ask these questions. And, we're all happy to do that for people.
And that's a
Because,
blessing.
yeah.
That's wonderful because, and that's something that, that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and a lot of people, like you said, if they go and they do this, they're like, well, we can't help you because you have this in your credit history or whatever. We're not going to do that. We'll help you get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
There are going to be situations where our hands are tied, but at the
But you
same
show
time,
how-
we will help.
Yeah. And show us how to get where we want to be.
Yes,
So, you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like,
they're not tied forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You come in to get a loan and you're denied. You're not explained why.
Yeah, you're
You know
not
what I mean?
just denied. Like you are, we will help you get to where
It's
you
like,
are approved.
Yes, if you want to do this, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
I love that because that's helping someone out, and I love that helping the hand up, not the hand out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah, and if you're timid, and a lot of people are, it's no problem. Come in.
Yes.
We've got
and we do
We got
not know
phones
what
here.
you guys know.
Yeah.
I mean, we do not know what Celebrity Home Loan
Yeah.
knows. You know what I mean? And we don't. You're the experts. We don't. We come in and what I love is the direction that you give, and help out with people. That's what I love. That
and
you know.
and they come in, use our phones, call from there. We'll sit there with them.
We have a
help them.
fax machine.
Supporting them is the biggest thing a lot of times.
Yes.
And helping them
Yes.
understand what needs to be done.
Yes. And just be being support. That's probably the biggest thing.
Mhm.
I mean, there's always somebody in our
Making them
office
not
sitting
feel
there,
silly.
one of us helping them make the phone call to these companies and figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
anyway, number 3. You want to do number 3?
Which one? Let's see.
The one on 12 months to make payment, before it's going to go to collection.
Okay. So
I just
also
threw that
going.
on here, so-
Also, also going into effect July 1st is the time frame from which the unpaid medical debts can be reported. As Dennis said a little bit earlier, they did have to wait 6 months, and that is going to be extended to a year. So again, that's an advantage of the consumer, just because they will have a little bit more time, and hopefully they are actually getting that bill before it is being reported. And the workman's comp, So a lot of the time, those claims would be able to be settled. Hopefully before that is showing up on the credit report. Because, like I said, say you do get hurt at work, a lot of the times you guys know how that goes. That's not like a week, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll pay it," because whether they have to escalate it to corporate, or whatever, then there are decisions to be made. It has to be recorded, all that good stuff.
I didn't want to do it. I got a question. Okay, so let's say that someone comes in to get a loan,
Mhm.
and they don't realize, because that year's a little bit of a link there,
Yeah.
and they don't realize that. You know what I mean? And then they go ahead and they apply for the loan, and you're not. Will you catch it there that there's that out there, or will that?
So, are you meaning like a workers' comp claim, or
Okay,
are you meaning...
let's say that someone's got a bill, okay, or has it. Okay, Dennis, we haven't received our bill.
Yeah.
I've not received a bill. Okay, so within that period of a year, let's say a person goes to buy a home,
Uh-huh.
and will you catch that was out there?
The only way that we would see that is if there is the medical collection for whatever the
But it wouldn't.
treatment would
but
be.
within that year, it wouldn't be there yet.
Right. So then no, we would not see it. But that's what I mean. So let's say something happened in 2020, and you work at, I'm just going to throw something out there, Kroger.
Mhm.
Well, if you do something at Kroger, you have to get surgery. There's this big medical bill. Well, it's on workers' comp. Kroger, Walmart, any of these big places, you have to escalate that to corporate. That's not like you showing up to your shift supervisor and saying, "So are you guys going to pay this?"
Yeah.
Yes, they are paying it, but there are steps in place, to get that settled and all that stuff. So whereas it was just 6 months with a big place like that, nationwide, they're going to have more than just your medical claim, and they have so much other stuff going on. So, if it's going to show up in 6 months, that's a short time for that stuff to get settled if you're waiting on a big company like that. Versus a year, that just allows a little bit more time where hopefully things like that aren't being showed up, and just doesn't misconstrue the reality of the situation. That it's not just a $2,000 medical bill.
Mhm.
They were hurt at work and they genuinely weren't even reliable to pay it. but it was just a matter of timing and all that stuff. So it's just really, honestly, hopefully it just helps with a lot of misconstruing information.
And one thing I think, this is just my thoughts, all right, in my opinion.
But you're a professional, so this.
Yeah, so I think with these changes, what we're going to see coming down the road, because now anything under $500, they can't put on a credit report.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes back to the doctors and the hospitals, because the collection companies are not going to deal with them. Because if they can't put it on a credit report to where one day a customer needs something, needs their credit improved, they come back and negotiate, pay it 2 years later or something, they're not going to fool with it. So they're going to tell all these doctors and all these hospitals, anything under $500, we're not taking.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and that will save the collection agencies a lot of time and, honestly, frustration.
It's going to cost them a lot of money, because that's a lot of bills they can't collect on.
Yeah.
But that's going to throw it back into the doctors and the hospitals' laps. So,
oh, gee, they're going to love that.
Hopefully improve
yeah.
communication.
That's gonna be-
Hopefully it'll
that
improve
means for them to
communication.
collect it, they're going to have to do something on their end and be more proactive with the customers. I hope, or at least that's my hope that will happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Because most people will pay it. $7 bill, yes, okay, I'll pay it. A $20 bill, copay, $40.
Sure, or they'll set up payment plans, and they will, because that's
medically you can do that.
Yes, and if you see a bill for $2,700, oh my gosh, that's intimidating. But these smaller amounts, and you're like, okay, well, if I just pay, $24 a month, I'll have that knocked off of there and whatever. They're going to be more apt to actually pay those as well,
right.
And hopefully the companies will just be a little bit more reasonable with them, and not say, okay, it's all due at once. Not that they do that now, but hopefully it'll just improve communication and the flow of things.
So the reasoning, and I think you might have touched it, and let me go back over the reasoning for doing this. What would be the pros? Why is this new?
Because it's knocking the scores down so much that it's keeping a lot of people from buying homes that would otherwise qualify.
Yeah.
They make plenty of income, but their score may be below 600 because they just had an operation last year and they got 7 or 8 medical bills that they didn't get paid that popped on there. Like I said, if it's under $500, you're not going to see them. And it's amazing how many are under $500.
So this stands out to me for sure. Let me just say this. A collection account, no matter what is owed and no matter what the amount is, because it is deemed as a collection on your credit report, can easily affect a credit score 100 points or more. So let's say you have, your typical range would be like a 620, a 630. Well, you have this medical debt. I'm just going back to this again, for this worker comp claim that you are not responsible for paying. And that drops your score to a 520, 530. That's a whole different ballgame, or a tier to have to reason with, qualifying you for a loan.
Right.
And that's no reflection of your payment history. That's just bad timing.
Yeah, right. So this will actually help people.
So many people
purchase homes and doing,
I like numbers, so I'm just going to throw a few statements out here with numbers.
I love that.
Okay. On here, these changes will impact approximately 20% of consumers in a very, very positive way.
Oh.
Okay. According to the CFPB, which, like Dennis said earlier, that's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, research shows that 58% of collections on a consumer's credit report are medical. 58% are medical, and then, like we said earlier, a single collection account can adversely affect a credit score over 100 points. So those are just numbers to kind of take into consideration.
Right,
We're looking at about 60% of people. And then also, as of June 2021, so now we're almost back to a year ago, this is where medical debt stood on a consumer credit report. We stood at about $88 billion of medical debt that was in the collection status.
Oh, wow.
So, and again, like Dennis said, it's not that they're being wiped out. These people are still going to be paid for their treatments and all that stuff that are in medical collection status, but it's not going to be a reflection of a consumer's repayment history and their, credit worthiness. That's not going to keep them from buying a house or anything like that, because just like, like Dennis said, if somebody gets into a hard spot where it is, they have to start going to the hospital, they get diagnosed with something terminal or whatever, that should not affect why they can't qualify for a house or what their credit is, as long as they are still willing to pay the debt.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and when you got, you're talking $88 billion, then
That's a lot. Yeah.
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's going to be enough to make the doctors and the hospitals say, hey, we got to do something different because we can't just let that go out the door and not collect our shit.
Wow.
The CFPB director herself even said that a lot of these people who get caught with even, a couple thousand in medical debt, then they get themselves in what's considered would be a doom loop. And they're like, I'm never going to get out of this, and then they get discouraged. And then, like we talked about today, just at the beginning, just mental health and all that stuff, that really knocks a person down and they feel like they can't get up.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and it gets consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, and so many times, I mean, this is your world, but the other world, for people that are not, you've got other things going, and then you're trying to keep up with this and understand it. And all these,
and it's discouraging, it's overwhelming.
And it's a lot. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it can
on top of making these big decisions, then you're like, I'm 10 steps back because I had a medical emergency, and
yeah.
You can't help that stuff.
And exactly. And you said it perfect. You're nervous anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like
you already feel vulnerable
and going to make, and you're like, and when you're sitting there and trying to analyze, should I do it, should I not do it, and then you step out and you do that, and then you get all this information.
And you're like, okay, now I'm back to square one. I should have never done that. No, that's not what it's going to be at all.
That's right. Celebrity Home Sloan says, go forward. Let's move on.
We'll hold your hand.
Yeah. And that's important.
Yeah.
I mean, and you guys are part of the community, and you live in this community, and and that's something that, I mean, you'll see everyone at the grocery store. You'll see everyone out.
Oh my God!
All the time.
Autumn is not here, so I'm going to do this for her. I guess, what is today? Thursday. Tuesday, she got hit with the line drive. Well, because she coaches Park and Rec, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Baseball, T-ball.
Yes,
you know how she is. That's why I said to her.
She,
I said, "Do you have an evening where you're not doing anything?" Oh, absolutely not. She's just so involved.
And she actually pitches. She'll pitch and flip-flops.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw Autumn not wear flip-flops one time in my life, and she felt the need to say, "Can you look at my feet?" And I sure did, and I didn't even know what to say. I was speechless.
What? Whoa!
Yes.
What froze over? What just froze over?
Yes.
And we kind of overlooked that in the office attire.
It's just a part of her.
Absolutely. I love
That's
it.
who she is.
Yes, and that's what she always says. You see
And
what
she's
you get.
comfortable, she's good. No, and much better for her back than all the heels that I wear. No, I'm all for her on that.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, line drive. So she got hit with a line drive.
Oh my.
Well, yesterday her and I went to Walmart. We have something else exciting coming up, and we're going to be sharing that with everyone soon. But anyways, we went to Walmart. Besides us like making ruckus with knocking things over because we're both clumsy, we saw, I think, at the end of, we were only in there like, well, Dennis would say longer, but we really weren't in there that long is what I'm trying to say. We were in our
They
Salem.
really were.
We had fun,
Yeah.
and you will be glad to know what I'm about to say next. We couldn't make it through 2 or 3 aisles. I mean, seriously, and somebody would say, oh, do they have shin guards back here, or did you get hit with this ball? So I guess what I'm trying to say is she's out there in the community. It's the people that feel comfortable, they've worked with her or they know her and all that stuff, and they feel comfortable enough to make that joke. So it's on a personal level. It's,
absolutely.
So,
yeah, definitely. And that's part of it.
Yes.
And that's where you're at right here in our community. And we're very blessed to have Celebrity Home Loans and that expertise on helping someone get where they want to be.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. And so, however long it took, Dennis.
I tell you, it was.
Yeah.
Let's just say that I had a Zoom meeting that started before lunch.
Oh, we're still talking about how long we were at Walmart. I seriously think 5 people stopped us just to talk about the shin guards. That's not talking. And we also stopped people.
Yeah.
Randomly and just said, hey, if you want a giveaway, what would you want? And so we're also getting opinions and different things for what would people want. We know what we want, but what would you want? Yeah. So
I love that.
Yeah, we were talking to other people, and then a lot of people did stop her and say different comments like, move out of the way next time, or do you need some shin guards? Or I think the shin guards are over there. Different stuff. But
sure.
yeah.
That's great. Well, and it is important, and it's good information to have, and some of these changes. And when will these changes start taking effect?
So the first one is going into, well, okay, so let's just go over an overview just to kind of reiterate like everything that we've said, because we've thrown a lot of information.
It is a lot.
So it was decided at the beginning of March, but things will not start taking effect until July of 2022. So I'm just going to do our 3 topics again, because that's kind of what Dennis said at the beginning, is we have 3 things we really want to share with you. So one being beginning July 1st, 2022, all paid medical collections will be removed from credit reports and will no longer be reported. So again, if you have something that's being paid, that collection can no longer adversely affect your score. It will be removed.
No matter how much you're making your payment on.
As long as it's paid. So if it's paid, the balance is 0, it will no longer show on your credit report.
So if you want to boost your score,
wouldn't that have been anyway though?
No, because it just shows. So like, let's say you have one for $360. You paid it, but it still was in a medical collection status at one point, a collection status. It still shows as a collection, even though the balance is 0, and people take that into consideration. It will still affect your score and hang out there.
Go back to the
for 7 years. Date
7
last
years.
activity,
Remember the
7
triangle I was
years.
talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly okay. I guess wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't clear enough. So the
Yeah,
date of last activity will be the date of last payment is when the clock starts.
Of 7 years.
Of 7 years. So what we look for is it paid, like non-medical. Is it paid?
Okay, Dennis, I sorry, I was listening.
No, I think it's good we're reiterating.
That's
It's a lot.
I didn't catch all of this.
It's very common to because it's a lot. Once you learn the basics of it, it's easy. And once we get people taught, then when they come back in for their second home or whatever, refi or cash outs, they've got it corrected and they've kept it corrected.
Yes.
But that triangle of date of last, so if you pay it off today, that will be your date of last activity.
Gotcha.
Okay? And the clock starts for 7 years, which is normal for all collections.
Yes.
It doesn't matter
so
what
the Spectrum collection, even though that's paid, that will still hang on there for 7 years.
Yeah. But we get that one off because it wasn't a correct.
Yeah.
It wasn't
that can be disputed.
It was a wrong. It was not a correct collection.
Yes.
Because it was already paid. But if it was paid, then they'll be on there for 7 years, and every year it hits your score less. It damages your score less.
Okay.
So with this happening July 1st, they all drop off that are paid. So that time frame for everything that's already paid will drop off.
Well, and that'll save you some legwork because you won't have to go back to see if it was paid or not paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the person said, I think I paid that. I think I did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that takes you guys an hour or two to do research to find out whether was it paid or was it not paid.
Yes.
So,
and that's another thing too, these are adversely, like we've said, a bunch of times, it's adversely affecting the score, and it affects 20% of people. Well, if you don't pay a Riverlink bill, or if you don't pay a medical bill, anything, and then it goes into collections and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing, and I pay it, as of now, that will still affect your score. So this is huge.
Yeah, that is.
If it is paid, it will no longer be on your credit report. That is huge.
Will there be glitches? I mean, will there be things like that you think?
I think it's just like anything, just like that Spectrum glitch.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to be on there in the beginning. So even though these things are coming out, I still think it is great for people to be proactive versus reactive and know what is going on with their personal, personal profile, like as far as their credit. And there's a website you can go to get one free credit report a year. And then obviously if you want to come in, we're helping you, things like that are going to come up. I think will still be glitches though, for sure.
That's what I wanted. Yeah.
And just kind of collection companies are bottom feeders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the easiest way to explain them. I've
like
dealt with them for years. Yes.
I'm trying to know my fish lately.
Yeah, I'm laughing.
They're bottom
like a catfish.
They eat the scum off the bottom.
Yes.
Or the little sucker fish that's in your fish aquarium that cleans the bottom of the tank. So.
My little cousin would be so proud of me right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look at you. Yeah.
But they refuse to work with people. They really make it hard, and they have, because they want that money, and they don't want to lose it.
No.
So this is going to make a big difference. And, And then, I'll let you go ahead and complete. You're doing so good on it. So let's go to the first of the year, because there's some more to go with with that first
Yes.
site.
So that is beginning July 1st. Again, all paid. Balance is zero. Medical collections will be removed from credit reports and no longer be reported. Again, that's just me repeating the first one. But also going into effect July 1st is the time frame that we talked about, which unpaid medical debt can be reported. So it can no longer be reported at our 6-month threshold. They're pushing that out into a year from where, when it can be reported. Again, that's huge because that's just going to allow more time for things to be settled and not reflect a misconstruing information of the consumer. Okay. So again, July 1st are the two of those. They're moving the collection agency's time frame from 6 months to a year, and all paid collections will be removed. Then the first half of 2023, that's all it says is the first half. We don't have a necessarily disclosed date for that one like we do for the others. And that will be medical debt that Dennis mentioned. Under 500 will not be able to be reported at all. So those smaller amounts that are under 500 that are maybe like a copay, a deductible, whatever it is that the consumer is still responsible for. If it's under $500, it's not going to be reported at all. That is not saying you are not responsible for it, but and then also that threshold may change between now and the beginning of next year as more research is done. So they're not saying necessarily black and white, it's $500, but those are the numbers that we've been provided with as of now. Okay. So that might change, but that's also still really big because the main point is all of these piddly little amounts are not going to be reflected as a collection on a consumer's credit report. And that's the big picture of it. Yeah. Whether it's $500, whether it goes to $300, it goes to $700, we don't know that amount, just like we don't know when it will take effect. Right. But that is the third change that we have tried. And the whole reason we're sharing all of this is we stay educated, we stay proactive with knowing, what's going to happen for our consumers and all of that stuff. And so that's the whole reason we're sharing all this. Yeah. So there are still things that, and we're on top of as far as education, getting out there, putting ourselves out there, knowing all this stuff. But even the CFPB has not decided that yet. So as soon as they do, we will again be the first ones to know and let our consumers and, all that know.
And we're not saying don't go pay your bills.
Yes.
You still owe the bill.
Absolutely.
And you need to pay it.
And Dennis is big on this. Dennis,
yes.
And,
pay your debt.
So don't think we're trying to say, oh, you don't owe the bill, because you do. They need paid the same as everybody else. They provided a service for you. The doctors are there for you. They're the ones that saved your lives, and helps you keep your health up. So they deserve being paid. Mm-hmm. It's just what we're trying to lighten everybody up is it makes a difference in our world. It makes a difference in your credit scores. It lets us get more people in homes and give us less issues to deal with. But at the same time, you still owe it. Right. It's just like at the 7-year time frame. People get the misunderstanding. When it drops off your credit report, you don't owe it. No, you still owe it. Uh-huh. Now, state of Indiana, I'd have to go back and look, but after 6, 7, 8 years, they can't collect it from you. They can't force you to pay. They can't call you and collect it. But you still owe it forever if you have a debt. That does not go away. So,
and I think the biggest advantage for to be fair to everyone concerned is if they paid it and it's still on there.
Yeah, and affecting them.
That to me is the bonus.
Why would they pay it? Because it's still going to affect them.
It's already, and if they paid it and it's still sitting there, hanging around
for 7 years,
it's hovering around their head, and making them. That to me is because they honestly did pay it. And then
and then to put something else into perspective, like we said, we need to kind of reiterate on the whole date of last activity thing, because that's something that a lot of people I think are in the unknown about. And even looking at credit reports every day from the bank and stuff, Dennis gave me a couple of resources that were truly enlightening as far as education and all that. But so let's say something gets reported in 2015, but you know about it and you pay it off in 2020, and it's not a medical collection. I know we're talking medical collection right now, but let's just say that Spectrum, you pay it off in 2020. Uh-huh. Well, that's your date of last activity. So it's a medical collection. Even though it's a collection, your date of last activity is 2020. Your 7 years restarts. It doesn't go from 2015. So that's, that's something too to like keep in mind. You want to pay those off as soon as you know about them. You want to set up payment plans. You want to get those, taken care of and get. It's just like you have the reins to do it. Don't let them go wild. So
good
control,
advice, definitely good information.
Yeah, a lot of information. Yeah.
No, it really
Which that's
is.
a big thing too. It is a lot of information. And I shared that we would be sharing this today, and we're going to do kind of a check up back on it just for any of the people who like and follow our page on Facebook, because that we're going to start sharing a lot of information there, and hopefully do stuff like this, and get ourselves out there a little bit more. But we are open to talk to anybody. We put our cell phone numbers on there. We put our office numbers. We have email. We will respond to Facebook messages. If you have questions about a personal situation that something's on your credit report, you just want a little bit of enlightenment or education about it, call us. You don't even have to come in for a home loan. Just call us.
Yeah, don't put the question on Facebook.
No, not Facebook on the
Yeah,
post.
you're not going to answer.
No.
Yeah, not on the post.
Yeah. No.
I guess we should say that, because sometimes people surprise us. But
I think that's true.
Don't put it out there for the public, because our page is public. But at the same time, don't feel like you can't ask us. Now that we've thrown ourselves out there for this information, we are going to be a resource, and we are going to help people.
I love that. Well, and that's very important.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's great information.
Yeah.
And changes too. That's
Yes. Yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
like I said, we don't know, because the CFPB, who is the deciding factor, they don't know at this point. That last one about the medical debt, the 500 threshold. But as soon as we do know that, then of course we will be sharing that and getting that out there to the public, because and the director herself said this will ultimately impact hundreds of thousands of people in their ability to do other things with their credit, and hopefully improve it. Like we said, it can affect it 100 points or more. So it is it's amazing news. It really was. So
What's the average person with, we're not naming names, what's their credit rate average?
I think it honestly just depends.
Probably between 680 and 720. That's kind of, and maybe
what's
even
the ultimate?
Okay, there is no such. Well, you got 3 bureaus, and there's 3 maximum levels, and they're all up in the mid 800s.
Yeah.
But
A lot of people
anybody,
say perfect score is 800 or above.
yeah,
That's a good reflection.
you get the best pricing over 740s. There is a little tick better rate on 780s on some products. But when we get somebody that has all 3 800 scores, it's like, hallelujah, we're in the top 5%.
We give them a high five for sure.
Roll on. Yeah, roll on.
But you take those people that are in that bracket, and if they mess up, and they miss one payment on a charge card or something, it'll knock them 100 points.
Yeah, because their history is so, consistent, and then it's
from
not.
0 to 0 real quick.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh man, it does.
And that is the biggest thing. It's control. Like, a lot of people are like,
Just pay attention.
the credit, like, I have no control over it. This is a never-ending game. It's not. You do have control.
You have 100%
You do.
control.
You do
I
have
love
control.
that. Talk about confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
We can
You need theme music after you tell some. After someone walks out, you need some kind of a theme music play. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Rocky or something. I don't know that it is,
but you do. You have 100% control, but you have to be proactive. You have to understand the system so that you do it correctly. And when something pops up, deal with it.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. Eye of the tiger. That's right.
Yes.
Eye of the tiger.
Go
Deal
boldly
with
into the night. You know what I mean? Yes. All of the above.
Yeah, I feel like we do need that play. And like right after you said that, we needed that.
We do need that. Absolutely. Get someone fired up. Well,
Yes.
and this is stuff that we don't know a lot of times.
Yep.
And then it's just like, what is this?
Well, like I said, I looked at him every day. And, Dennis came to me one day. He's like, read this book. I'm like, oh, there's another book. You got me reading 3 right now. And sometimes I'm like, I don't remember what book I read that in.
Yeah,
but at the same time, what I'm saying is he's resource, like, as an office, we're resources for them. And as for each other, we're resources for each other,
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Shooting books your way. That's great. Read this. Yeah, read this one.
That's what I'm saying. I think I really am reading 3 books right now.
You will not see
Sorry.
Chris.
I would say 2.5 because I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. One of them, I've been really slacking.
Well, maybe
I might
it's not
have to
of interest,
restart
yeah.
it.
Yeah, there you go. You can go back. Yeah. Well, it's wonderful information and very valuable, and it's good to know what's coming. Possibly in July. Got a little bit of a heads up on this and a different way of looking. You can do the research. They can
Yes.
come call and talk to you, come and see you, and very available. And I think it's great. I see people just popping in your office just for information and trying to get help.
I hope so. I hope so.
That's absolutely that's the beginning of a relationship.
Yes, and that
Yeah.
puts our face out there, and we gain their trust, and that's
Definitely.
honestly where we want that. We want to start that foundation.
Yeah.
They'll come back to us.
Yep.
Oh,
When
definitely.
they need something, they'll come back.
Absolutely.
So we're okay with it.
Yeah.
I've always been that way.
Right.
And
You can bring snacks too.
I love
Oh,
that.
right.
Yeah, Chrissy, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, look at my waistline. It's just a
We can
snack.
sit and talk and eat snacks. There you go. Well, that would make somebody
Everyone
more
likes
comfortable.
snacks.
More snacks means more salads.
Yeah.
There you go. More salads. Yeah, that's what that's true. But it's good, and let's give your location and hours
Yeah.
and information on that.
All right, Celebrity Home Loans. www.celebrityhomeloans.com is our website. The NMLS consumeraccess.org is where you can go look us up with the federal government. Make sure that we are a legitimate company. Our NMLS number is 227765. We're an equal housing lender. My personal NMLS number is 147022. Rachel, give your
I'm not Rachel. We do love Rachel, and she's at the
Oh,
office.
Rachel.
I'm Camissa.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Tuesday.
Camissa Houchin, NMLS 2181013. So that's my personal NMLS 2181013.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, he was just making sure you were on your toes.
Yeah,
He was
and we
awesome.
do miss Rachel. So if Rachel's listening, Dennis is thinking about you.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love
I'm
that.
sure she's listening. She usually does.
Yeah,
She's
that's
great.
wonderful.
I was thinking about her.
Well, you guys, great information and good for our community and beautiful part of our community. And thank you so much that you guys are the experts in all of this, and so that we can have what we want and how to get there.
Yes,
The road to get
absolutely.
there. Love that so much. Thank you guys for coming in. And I would like to thank our sponsors: Walmart, Mediview Healthcare Center, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans in the house right now, and
You missed your whoop whoop.
come on. Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black Side Associates, and Fox Burley Wealth Management. Everyone, have a terrific Thursday. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Warning. This program may be found offensive by pencil-pushing, bean-counting, research-loving program directors and radio consultant boobs. In the beginning, there was fun on the radio. Then the radio industry fell victim to corporate America and venture capitalist bankers who marched in with their research and up to their armpits in debt and turned the radio band into a wasteland of cookie cutters, faceless, sound-alike stations who completely lost touch with the people they were meant to serve. Then there were two voices that cried out in the wilderness, faint at first, but becoming louder with every passing ratings book. It's okay to have fun again, to give the people what they really want to hear, and not treat them like a sea of mindless followers who have no choice in their radio entertainment. Welcome to the Rick and Bubba Show.
It is 7 minutes past the hour of the Rick and Bubba Show. From the No Name Studio, another hour, Speedy, the real Greg Burgess, Helmsy, and Eddie Van Adler. And your phone calls are coming in at 866-WE-BE-BIG. We would love to chat with you. Mobile, Alabama. How about it, Mobile? West Mobile Baptist Church, Saturday morning. Helmsy coming to town for Man Church. Check those details at rickandbubba.com under upcoming events. Birmingham, Alabama. The real Greg Burgess tomorrow, 11 to 1 at Henry Hoover Auto Mall right there in Hoover, Alabama. If you want to go by and eat some pizza with Greg and hang out under his tent, you can do that 11 to 1 local time tomorrow. And welcome back, Bill Bubba Bussey.
Rick, glad to be here, and thank all of you for joining.
To the phones we go. 866-WE-BE-BIG. You'll start the hour. We go to Jack Leg in Alabama. Hey, what are you, some kind of Jack Leg? Welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, first, I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
Thank you, fan. I will drive home and turn those on, roll them through, and it puts me in a better mood if I'm in a bad mood. So, but I gotta hold court here real quick with Bubba, because that one came across about. Let me make sure I got this right. He met at a remote a listener who wolfed out a snake out of a bag. He drop kicks this woman and then beats the snake like a rope on the ground until the head come off of it. Is that true?
Well, the head didn't come off, but it was dead.
Yeah,
it wasn't moving.
Yeah, it was the incident. Someone,
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. A woman thought she would be cute because she knew Bubba's fear of the snake. Pulled it out of if it was like a sack, like a pillowcase. And the rest, what happened after that, is forever etched in time and burned in the